Hello, everyone. Dr. Anthony Criniti IV here, also known as Dr. Finance. You're on the Dr. Finance Live podcast. We have an amazing guest today. We got Erik Swanson. He's also called Mr. Awesome, and he really is awesome. He's got a lot of cool stuff that he's going to tell us about today. So let's give a warm welcome to Erik Swanson. Hello, Erik. How are you today, sir?
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me on this. This is awesome. I'm excited. Rock and roll. Great to see you, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Erik. So Erik is he has a lot of talents. For starters, he's an international keynote speaker. He's a very big and popular best-selling author, many different books we're going to talk about. But he's also famous for having a speaking event that we're also going to talk about. So, Erik, let's get started. You want to tell us a little about yourself, maybe your story, your origin story?
Yeah, man, my origin story. I like that. I've never heard that before. Since the pandemic, I've done about 5 summits a day for the last year and a half. And that's the first time I've heard that. That was good. And podcasts. Let's see, my origin story. Well, I was born a rich person. That's right. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? The doctor comes out and goes, here you go. Here's your billionaire baby. There you go. Right. I was born in Washington, D.C. area. Washington, D.C., and moved up to Vermont, finished up my school there. And then I decided, you know what? I think I'll travel. So I traveled everywhere, started going to the West Coast, that's actually a funny story. I was supposed to go to Newport Beach, California with my brother. So my brother woke up one morning. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I go, nothing. He goes, let's go to California. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Right. So I would follow my brother everywhere. Right. Because he's 2 years older than me. And I was like, my brother's awesome. So we head out from the East Coast to the West Coast to our target goal was Newport Beach. But this is back in the 90s. I'll just say that. Well, barely in the 90s, like 1990. And what happened was my brother and I went Route 80 across the states, and we ended up going through Reno. And I remember I was like, well, I've never gone to a casino before. So we went to a casino, we took all of our money and we lost all our money. and we're like 21 years old. Okay. I was 20 or 21. He was 23. We lost all our money in Reno, had 1 tank of gas left. And we didn't know what to do. So we're like, well, how are we going to get down? If you ever go from Reno to try to go down to Southern California to Newport Beach, you don't make it. So our gas got us in our car, got us to the top of California Street in San Francisco. That's where it got us. And we ended up like just stopping there, and we're like, what do we do now? We're out of money. We're not going to call mom and dad and ask them again, you know? So we're like, well, we better go get jobs. So I was literally homeless. I lived in my car and he lived in his car for about a week until we met some people. And it's funny, you know how people say they date for food, you know, well, we dated for shelter. So we met some girls, and we ended up hanging out, and we're like, can we just like crash on your couch for like a week? So we did that. And then we ended up falling in love with San Francisco, and it was an amazing city. And I basically grew up there for about 5 years or so, until my brother comes up to me at my condo in San Francisco, and he comes up and he goes, hey, what are you doing? I go, nothing. He's like, I want to learn Spanish. I'm like, all right, let's go. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the bookstore. We're going to learn a course online. You know, he's like, no, I want to move somewhere, learn Spanish. I'm like, all right. So we ended up moving to Puerto Rico for a while. And,
wow.
And he ended up staying there, getting married, having like 20 kids or something, and 5. And then I came back, and that's my story. So then I met Brian Tracy in Austin, Texas, when I was traveling through Austin. And then this whole thing happened. Became a speaker, a trainer for Brian Tracy, and then an author with all of my books here. And then we grew the Habitude Warrior conferences and the Masterminds, and here we are.
Wow.
My name's Erik Swanson, and I'm complete.
That's a clubhouse line.
Little clubhouse there for you.
Folks, so Brian Tracy is one of the top motivational speakers in the world. And Erik, as he was saying, was under his tutelage for a while. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But Erik, let's step back for a moment before we get there. So you grew up in Washington, D.C. around what age did you leave? Around 18, 20, you said, after high school?
So in DC, I grew up there until I was 15. Then I moved up to Vermont
Oh,
and
15.
finished the school there, high school and some college there. And then I moved out to, my brother's like, what are you doing? So that's what age that was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was it like growing up in Washington, D.C.?
It was fine for me because it was really suburbs. I mean, when somebody says DC, they don't really mean literally DC unless
Oh, okay.
you're older. So when we grew up in Washington DC area, it was Potomac, Maryland. It was this new up and coming, like Gaithersburg, Rockville, Potomac. These were the new areas that were popping up. And I remember that, if you really want to know what it's like growing up in DC area, for me, it was cool. It was like a big Disneyland of dirt, mud, BMX bikes. I remember literally getting stuck in mud, like it was like quicksand mud, because they were building all these foundations. And in DC area, they have basements. They dig in and they build the basements. In East Coast, it's okay to do that. Some other places it's tough to do that because of the ground. But they had all these, like, it was really dangerous. Like, I mean, back then I remember there were no seat belts. People were smoking on airplanes, and we were playing in the fields. Like, there were tractors that were climbing, and I mean, where was everybody? And our parents got home at 5 o'clock at night. It's like, where were we in the 70s? I don't understand. Anyway, that was me. I don't know what age you are, but I grew up basically in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I asked you about that question as well, I'm interested because I live here in Philadelphia, but I actually lived in DC for 4 years for college. I went to GW, so I know it's like a second home to me over there, and I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, Potomac, Maryland's a pretty interesting area right now. It's doing very well. So,
well, I'll tell you what, Dr. Anthony, I went back from let's see, when I was a kid, I was in the suburbs, obviously, and I was 15 when I left, so I wasn't really going downtown to DC or driving around or anything. But when I came back 10 years later, when I'm working with Brian Tracy and a lot of other great speakers, we would bring these top name speakers to the area there, and it was awesome. I mean, M Street and Wisconsin Avenue and all the restaurants and all the really cool. I could tell you like 10 different burger joints that you have to go to because it's the best burgers in town. Amazing. But Philadelphia, I love Philadelphia. Love it too.
You're
DC,
welcome. Anytime you want to come here, man.
Yeah.
Let's give me a ring. I'll show you.
I was mentioning to you before, I live right above, where Rittenhouse Square is. So I would just look, I was on the top floor of Rittenhouse Square, one of the condos there, and I would look down, you could see all the square right there. It was amazing, the park. And I lived right above Rouge. So it was a fantastic time. I love it when I go back to Philly.
Yeah. Thank you, Erik. Appreciate it. All right. So we're going to move into the fun stuff. So how does it feel to be mentored by the world famous keynote speaker, Brian Tracy?
Blessed. That's probably the best word to say. Yeah. In fact, you know what? I'll tell you a story about it. So the quick story is this. So I was introducing Brian Tracy. We were awarding him with the Lifetime Achievement Award on one of my events that's called the Habitude Warrior conference. Okay, so we're honoring him for this, and we had a big award and everything ready to do it, and we had 30 speakers on the stage at that point. I need to adjust my mic as well. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so we had about 30 people. We had about 30 speakers on the stage, and Brian Tracy was the main keynote speaker. This is just 2 years ago here in San Diego, and what happened was, I told my tech guys, my AV tech team, I said, look, make sure everything runs smoothly. Double make sure everything runs smoothly when Brian Tracy walks on stage and we introduce him. Okay, so my team's all, yeah, sure. We did double checks, triple checks, all these checks, right? Sure enough, Murphy's Law, something happened to the video when the video was playing, but the audio was not playing on the introduction video that we had for Brian. And Brian's such a dear person. He was okay with it. It's just like, we were like, well, what do we do? So, and it brings me to the point of this. I literally just, I grabbed the microphone. I was already on stage waiting to introduce him, but I ended up grabbing the mic and I said, I just want to come from the heart and tell you, there are 3 mentors in my whole entire life. And the first one is God, the second one is my father, and the third one is Brian Tracy. And it was such a it was probably good that the video didn't work, because this is perfect, and that's how I would describe working with Brian Tracy is wow, what a blessing, right? Not many people can say that they were personally mentored by one of the greatest, amazing individuals in our era, excuse me. And it was amazing also, Dr. Finance, because not only was I mentored by him, but he's the type of person that mentors through other mentors, through W. Clement Stone, through Napoleon Hill, through everybody, Charlie Tremendous Jones, to Zig Ziglar was a good friend of his, so all of this knowledge came through Brian and came to me, which is, I feel blessed.
Starting from Napoleon Hill, as you mentioned, right?
Starting from Napoleon Hill. It actually started probably before
Andrew
that.
Carnegie,
Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret in the World, The Strangest Secret, excuse me. Ogmandino, these are things that started with Brian, because Brian asked a very important question. And in his whole entire life, he, as Brian's story, he's from Canada. He's from British Columbia. He ended up asking himself, he was a laborer, meaning he would go out there and drill wells, he would do all these construction site things, and he has a joke about the fact that drilling wells, and when you get to the bottom and you hit water or hit whatever you're drilling for, then you're out of a job. So he's like his buddy was like, look, Brian, water. He's like, cover it up. We need 2 more days of work. Right. So he decided, instead of working, kind of by the hour or by the day that he was doing labor jobs, he kept on asking himself the one question, which I took and started asking myself throughout my whole journey of this career right now, for the last 30 years. And that question is, why is it that some people are more successful than others? Mm-hmm. And I'll say it again. Why is it that some people are more successful than others? And it comes down to really 3 major things. It's their habits, their attitude, and their action steps that they do with their habits and their attitude. And that was the genesis of my Habitude Warrior brand. And that's a whole nother story. But I'm from DC, to answer your question.
Okay. Thank you, Erik. This is a fun interview. I love it. All right. So Erik, I have a lot of questions for you, and I know you have a little bit of time. So let's try to do about maybe 1 or 2 minutes for each one. So what are some of your other mentors?
Oh, great question, man. So as you know, I'm from Washington, D.C. My other mentors, I'm going to keep on milking that joke. So let's see, my other mentors, interesting question that you ask, because I basically just mentioned all these mentors that came through Brian. Brian was my main mentor, but all the other ones came through him, and it was like a legacy mentorship. And then I got a chance or opportunity or a blessing to be able to meet and work with the one and only Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn, as you know, not the sportscaster guy. Okay, guys, I'm talking about Jim Rohn.
You're talking about Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins started with Jim Rohn as well, right? Yeah. So Jim Rohn was a he passed away around 15 years ago, but he was an amazing philosopher, just a fantastic individual from Idaho, and he taught how to. He was like a farm boy from Idaho, and he taught how to really have your mindset work on a consistent, awesome basis. And I had the pleasure of working with him in different areas around the U.S. And I remember one quick story. This is actually the genesis of my Habitude Warrior brand. I was there at an event in Houston, Texas with Jim, and Brian Tracy was on stage. I was there with Brian, working with Brian, and Jim Rohn comes up to me and he goes, son, come here. And I said, yes, sir. When Jim Rohn says, come here, it's like E.F. Hutton talking, right? You go, yes, sir. What can I do for you? He's like, what are you doing for Brian? And he's pointing on stage. And I said, well, and back then I was excited about being, working with Brian Tracy, and I was the sales guy and so forth. I was like, I'm the best salesperson ever that Brian's ever seen. He's like, okay, I see you're passionate about that. All right. He goes, what do you really want to do? This is what Jim Rohn asked me. What do you really want to do? And I thought about it. I went away. I came back and I said, Mr. Rohn, I figured it out. I want to work with my own habits and attitude and help myself with those. And I want to help others as well. And he says, you should put that together. So I literally put the word together, habitude, because it's habits and attitude. So it was the genesis of that word was when I had the conversation with Jim Rohn. So pretty cool. I'm from Washington, D.C.
I'm from Philly.
I love it.
Every time you said it, I got to say that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it.
Thanks, Erik. That was great.
What's the next question?
What role has networking played in your life?
I feel like I'm on a job interview. Do I get the job at the end of the? Can you imagine? I don't even know where to go. Like, what do you do to go get a job? I haven't had a job in 25 years.
Oh, we both know we're both unemployable.
I know. I was a waiter 25 years ago, and then I was working for Brian Tracy driving a Porsche 911 24 years ago. So it's like there's a little transition. It's crazy. I'm sorry, what was the last question?
Yeah. So what role does networking play in your life?
Networking? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Networking, like connecting with others.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. Oh my gosh, it's everything. I mean, there's an old proverb that says, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what you're all about. You know, and I know we're on all these different social media platforms and Clubhouse and different things. And we have lists. I mean, you can see all these books behind me. They're not all my books. They're my friends' books. Like I have you should see this. I don't know if you can see this. I have a stack of books right here, like literally right next to me on the right. And these are all, you know, Sharon Lechter to everybody. I mean, Darren Hardy, a good buddy of ours from Success Magazine, to you name it. Just every single, every single book. And oh yeah, Exit Rich. Yeah,
I just got my copy too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've got my boom. There you go. Here, let's do a shout out to Sharon. Ready? Boom.
Yeah,
there you go,
we're gonna send this to Sharon.
Here, I'm gonna take a photo. Here, let's do a screenshot. Okay. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second.
I gotta hold it properly though. There you go.
All right. So I got that set. Now I got to go like this, and we'll do it to Sharon. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's awesome.
Send it to me because I'll send it to Michelle too.
I will. I will.
She's coming on pretty soon.
You know, and I'll share something with you. This is exactly what I'm talking about networking. See, most people think when you say the word networking, some people are thinking, by the way, I'm in a fight with my chair. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yeah,
when we started this interview, I was up here.
Yeah.
So give me a second.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I moved this. That's what I did there. All right, there we go.
Must be the water.
So no, it's the chair. I'm in a fight with it right now. So the thing is, a lot of people think networking is all about just getting out there and pushing your stuff on other people, and it's not. What it is really connecting your heart, your soul, your awesomeness with other people, and having and being that. Like, I like to consider myself, I don't drink coffee, alcohol, or I don't deal with negativity. Those are the 3 things I got rid of. And one of the things, coffee, I don't really drink coffee anymore. So what I think and I believe is I am other people's coffee. So when I walk out of my condo or my home or my house or my hotel, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I am other people's coffee, because that will give me the energy as well, right? So if you do that, and I'll show you this is kind of a sign of that. When you open up a book from one of your friends that sends you a book, it has a beautiful, amazing, you know, handwritten, Erik, you're the best speaker I've ever seen. You know, it doesn't say that, but it says something like, you know,
I had to buy mine from Amazon. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. But the point is, though, it's all about networking, and this is a beautiful message from her to me, from Sharon Lechter to me. I was over in my backyard here and my patio, and I left the book out there, so I won't go off camera right now, but I have a book from Denis Waitley, Dr. Denis Waitley, NASA's performance coach. And it's the same, it's literally a beautiful, Erik, I want to say thank you so much for all of your support, all of your energy, all of your awesomeness. I mean, it's a beautiful message. What I'm trying to say is, it's not all about like the messages to me. But my question is, are you, the listener or the viewer or wherever we are we recording yet? I'm from Washington, D.C. My point is that I'm complete. We should have been on Clubhouse also. We should have just done it. That would have been funny. So my point is, that as a viewer or listener, are you giving yourself permission to give other people awesomeness? Ooh, I'm going to write that one down. That's beautiful, because a lot of us are not doing it for that. We're not doing that. First of all, you are, but a lot of us are not. A lot of us are doing it for like up leveling ourselves instead of up leveling other people. Once you up level, I mean, Zig told it best, right? If you want to reach your goals, help other people reach their goals. And that's what it's all about. That's why I wear this dog tag that says, it says no drama here. I'll show you the one that's over here. I think it's Here you go. I got one for you, by the way. It's right here. So let me open it. It just says, it's a dog tag that says, it says NDSO, which says no drama, serve others. Oh, it's probably upside down.
Backwards.
There we go. You get the point.
Yeah.
Here's a better way. No drama, serve others. NDSO. So it's all about serving other people. So networking, to me, when you say the word networking, it just means the gift of giving yourself to other people.
Okay. Thank
It's
you, Erik.
huge.
And by the way, folks, I personally, knowing Erik so far, I would say that's probably your number one attribute. I give you credit. I mean, you're a master genius networker. Your network is huge, and it's because of the way you live your life. It's just what you said, serving others. So,
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
I'll share a quick, thank you for saying that. I'll share a quick technique for people. What you want to do is the what the heck calls. The what the heck calls, I do 3 a day. And what I do is I just grab my phone, my iPhone, or, you know, you could use the other silly one that other people use, but use a phone and just kidding, iPhone or the Android. Anyway, so use your phone and just do a what the heck call, meaning, you know, who are you going to call today? And write down 3 names of amazing individuals that you're going to call and just uplift them. That's what I do. I schedule that time for myself to do that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Erik. All right, moving along. So how did you get the name Mr. Awesome?
Oh, that's a great story too. So being from Washington, D.C., I'm just kidding. There you go. It's ready. So I got the name Mr. Awesome when I was coming off a stage one time. Sharon Lechter was in the audience, Brian Tracy, all these really cool people. And I came off stage and a gentleman was sitting right there. And he's one of the first ones to stand up and he points at me. And he says, "You're Mr. Awesome." And that gentleman was Les Brown.
Wow.
So when Les Brown calls you Mr. Awesome, you kind of keep that name and it's stuck.
Okay. So Les Brown was really the originator of that name?
Les Brown, Brian Tracy started calling it to me as well.
Wow.
Now everyone does.
Well, that's pretty cool. So I'm just wondering, like, if I called you Mr. Super Awesome, would you change your name?
Up to you, man. We'll see how it lands.
How it is. All right.
Wouldn't that be Dr. Awesome at that point?
Yeah. Wow.
Honorary Dr. Awesome.
Honorary doctor. Yeah. All right. Can you tell us a little about your Habitude Warrior event briefly, and what's the difference between? I believe I listened to a talk the other day. It was you mentioned Universal Seminars. I don't know if that's the same thing, if it still exists. So Habitude Warrior versus Universal Seminars.
Yeah, good call. Universal Seminars was years ago when one of our first companies, and essentially Universal Seminars was a one-day event, multi-speaker, about 3 or 4 speakers for the day. And the problem with that was it was great, but it was easy because it was a one-day event, and we'd go to different places. It was a lot of fun. But the problem was the audience members kind of felt that they were getting sold to all day long, because every multi-speaker came on and sold. And it's like, so we did that for about probably 5 years or so. And then we smartened up and we said, okay, why don't we change the format? And it's not all about sales. It's all about serving. And we changed it to the Habitude Warrior because I had the conversation with Jim Rohn and I was like, oh, this is great. I remember flying back from working with Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy that day in Houston. I flew back to San Diego to my home here. I was hanging out with John Assaraf from The Secret. And I told him about that what Jim Rohn told me. And he's like, John, I remember John turned to me and he says, if you don't use that word habitude, then I'm going to. I'm like, no, I got it. So I copyrighted it and everything, or trademarked. So the Habitude Warrior Conference is literally I'm gonna keep on moving this down. It's my chair is gonna be replaced very soon. So the Habitude Warrior Conference is a 2-day event. It's all TED Talk style presentations, and it's all give. So at the end of the day, and I'll just tell you this secretly, don't tell anyone, but at the end of the day, every audience member gets one gift from every one of the speakers that's on stage. We only allow 2 or 3 people to be able to offer anything throughout the whole 2 days. And it's a very small little, like a soft offer, if that makes sense, right? So at the end of the day, you know, there's 21 speakers at the end of the 2 days, excuse me, and we have some panelists and so forth. So they have about 30 speakers throughout 2 days, and they get 30 different programs and events, and this and that, and they walk out of there going, "Oh my God, this is amazing!"
Hit the lottery.
So that's what that is. Yeah, we should call it the lottery event, right?
Wow. So the universal seminars, that's no longer existed. Now it's
Yeah,
completely Habitude
we
Warrior.
went into the Habitude Warrior, correct.
Okay. Okay, cool. And how did you come up with, so you already told us, but just real quickly, if you could restate it for this question, how did you come up with the name Universal Warrior? And the reason I want to separate each one is for SEO.
Well, it's Habitude Warrior, it's not Universal Warrior. So
Habitude Warrior, I'm sorry.
yeah, Habitude Warrior. So I mentioned it a little bit ago. Remember, we were talking about Jim Rohn and the habits. I told Jim that it's all about habits and attitude.
Right.
And that's how I put it together, the Habitude Warrior, because I think I was reading a Peaceful Warrior at the time, you know, a great book, amazing. Dan Millman out of Berkeley wrote that, amazing, from his life. He wrote it about his life. And if you haven't read that book, read it. It's amazing. So I think I was reading that one day, and it dawned on me that we are all warriors. We are all amazing, awesomeness for ourselves. And Brian taught me one thing. Well, he taught me many things. One thing that he taught me years ago was nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's like you jump in your car. If you're in sales, you jump in your car and you got your phone, your tablet, your whatever. If you just sit there, nobody's going to come over and say, hey, let me give you some sales, right? Let me give you some prospects. It's not going to happen. You got to save yourself. You got to be a warrior on that. Right. So that's where it came from years and years ago. That was the mentality. And I think that we are all doing that. We're all warriors in certain ways, you know, even stay-at-home dads or stay-at-home moms, you know, we're all warriors. We're warriors dealing with whatever you're dealing with to make it an awesome event, awesome experience for your life. So that's where it came from. It's Habitude is a combination of habits and attitude put together.
And then warriors, just because we're all warriors.
Correct. Yeah.
Good point. Thank you, Erik. All right. So we're moving along pretty good. What are some of the qualities that you look for when you were selecting paid participants for your speaking events, masterminds, book collaborations, all the different things that you basically do? And you got a lot of things going on. So
yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward and obvious. What we look for is somebody that's credible. We vet them. We make sure that they're referred by somebody else. So then we can hold that accountable as well. And we just watch. Brian Tracy taught me this years ago. It's people will say certain things. People will put things on their resumes, and yet if you just watch them how they do certain things for a time period, you know, a 3-month period, a 6-month period, and that's what we do. We just watch people, and we have a team that watches people, and we constantly, like, people don't realize this, but we are constantly, like, I'll flip names over to my team and I'll say, okay, here's on the watch list, right? And a positive watch list, okay? And we'll name some names over there, and they'll be like, okay, we're going to look at their social, we're going to look at what they're doing over here, and that's what we do. And then, of course, when people are, when they're best-selling authors is amazing. You know, one thing that I've been noticing recently is whenever I refer somebody to a summit that I'm on, let's say I'm on a lot of summits lately, obviously, because there's a lot of summits out there. We're just now, I haven't actually been on a physical stage in, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe. But I'm okay with it because guess what? I'm using another technique of mine. It's called double. And I've doubled my income from year to year, and I double the time off that I do it in. So it's a great system, and it's in one of my books, this one right here, called Crush and Dominate: 13 Strategies to Piss Off Your Competitors. So anyway, this is a great book right here, Acres of Diamonds. Great book right there. If you haven't read that one, I actually have an original Acres of Diamonds. An original. Check this out. Oh, you're going to be like, what? Actually, I'll show you 2 more things. This is like show and tell time. Here we go. So check this out.
We're going to get to your books in just a second. But
well, this isn't my book. This is Acres of Diamonds. This is amazing. Yeah. Oh wow. My gosh. So Acres of Diamonds, I got to tell you, man, sorry. I'm just going to tell you right now. Here's the plastic baggie that I hold it in. And this is one of the original Acres of Diamonds Memorial Edition that came out back in 1902 or 19 something. It's all wrapped. Look at this. This is amazing. It's Russell Conwell, Acres of Diamonds. And if you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. It's amazing. So there you go. That's my little show and tell. Oh, this is a good show and tell too. You know, Jim Rohn and Denis Waitley gave me some CDs personally handwritten to me, and they're like, here you go, sir. Remember when we had CDs?
Yeah, we might have to define that for everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, go back to the next question.
CDs
Sorry to
came in
interrupt.
before digital, folks. Yeah, so all right, so actually that leads into the next question. So about books, we're talking about books now. How many books did you write, and what are their names? And you're more than welcome to show them off.
Sure. I have a lot of them are sold out. My books, I have, if you go to bestselling author erikswanson.com, that'll bring you right to all of my books. And I have, let's see, 5 that I've written myself. One of them was a collaboration that we published ourselves that through the Habitude Warrior brand. And that one's Junior Habitude Warrior, which is literally right here. Boom, right there. Actually, I think I have a copy right here. Yeah, I do. It's called Junior Habitude Warrior. And what we do is we teach kids confidence. It's a guide to building confidence, leadership, and personal development, self-development, non-bullying, and so forth. It's amazing. It's a quick read, 100 pages, 102 pages. So that's a really cool one. Of course, I told you about this one right here, Crush and Dominate. Boom, Crush and Dominate, which is really cool. So if you're looking to build, it's a #1 national bestseller. This one's awesome too. International bestseller. This one is the Social Millions.
Did you come up with that idea? The term Social Millions?
I did, yeah. And I have Social Millions book.com. It goes right to the book here. And essentially what this is a book about, and again, it's 120 pages long. Oh, here's a secret. If you ever want to put a book up there, what you do is you grab a chapter or two and you do one of those things, a teepee, and it sits up just like that. See? Pretty cool. So this one's all about social millions, how to get more eyeballs on you. I mean, you and I met through social media. So it's a great way to build, and I share techniques in there on how to do that. And let's see what else I have. I have Sales Habitude Warrior, which is, I think, right there. There you go. I have Time Management, which is right there. I have another time management book right here called Time Habitudes. So I have about 6 books out right now. Those are the ones that I've written. And then I'm in this book right here. Greg Reed put this out with our friend who was the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and his name's Frank Shankwitz. This is called Universal Wish. And I'm in this book as a collaboration book. It's actually a parable, a story. It's amazing. It's great.
What did you do? Did you write a chapter, or did they mention you in there? How did that work?
Yeah, they interviewed me and they put me in the story. So I'm literally in the story. Yeah.
Greg Reed was on, by the way, he was on the last episode. This is episode 13, folks. He was on 12 last week. So it was
this week or last week?
Last week. He was actually in the middle.
Hey, Greg, what's up, man? How are you? That's awesome.
Yeah, he was in the middle of making a movie in Hollywood. So we caught him off guard a little bit, but
very nice. Very nice.
So, all right. So 6 books. And this ties into the next question, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. Can you tell us about the new series of books that you have coming out called The 13 Steps to Riches?
Yeah.
Is an interpretation of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which I'm also in, and many, many other celebrity authors, as well as other regular authors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you'd like, I'll show one of the cover, kind of the cover, I'll show you, I'll screen share if you'd like. I'll show you something if you guys want to. In fact, do I have screen share ability? Let's see.
No.
Yeah, let me have that, and I'll show you one quick thing. It'll be really cool.
Yeah. So
what Dr. Anthony is talking about is our book collaboration. I don't really like using the word collaboration, but it's a book. It's a series. It's a 13-book series, and it's based on this book right here, which is Think and Grow Rich. In fact, I have to show you one of these. I have one of the rare editions of Think and Grow Rich here, which includes the first editions of Napoleon Hill's archives. This is amazing. And what I did was I brought this to, I'm sure I can do it now. Hold on one second. Nope, it doesn't say it yet. So I'm not sure how you do it. You go to participants probably.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
go
know
to
if it'll
participants.
mess the recording up. That's what I'm a little worried about.
No, it doesn't, but it's up to you. It just goes right into here. So you just click on my name and give me permission or something, if you want to. But here's the scoop on this. So this one's really cool. Check this out, Dr. Anthony. This particular book I brought to one of my events, and I had all of my friend speakers sign the inside of the book. Isn't that cool? So
Wow.
this is a collector's item now. It's amazing. Anyway, it is what it is.
I can't figure it out, Eric. I'm sorry. I would definitely give you a privilege. I got it on my phone though. If you want to try that, you want me to do the one that you sent me?
It's okay. No, I was going to show you something else. It's all good. Let me share with you guys what the book is all about. So it's based on this book right here, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, written in 1937. And what we did was, what we are all doing is I've brought together 33 co-authors to write a chapter in 13 different books. And each book is based on one of the steps to riches, the 13 steps to riches that's in the Think and Grow Rich. So we're honoring Napoleon Hill. It's not part of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, but we're honoring Napoleon Hill by writing this. And it's really cool. It's kind of like a modern day journey through success. So we have 33 speakers. We have 33 authors, co-authors, and then we have 13 celebrity authors is what I call them, because they're, New York Times bestsellers. They're pretty popular. And one of them will be in one of each of the books. So one of the books. So it's pretty cool. So we have Denis Waitley in the first one, Sharon Lechter in the second one. I can't recall who's in the third one. I think it's Jim Cathcart, past president of the National Speakers Association, Acorn principal. He's amazing. We have so many different. We have John Assaraf from The Secret. We've got Kevin Harrington, my buddy from Shark Tank. We have Alex Stern, who's another great friend of mine. He started Constant Contact with a few of his friends. So the list goes on and on. I mentioned Sharon, I think, right? Loral Langemeier.
Loral Langemeier.
Yeah.
Glenn Lundy.
That's right.
Cordova.
Yeah. Doria Cordova. Yeah. We have so many great individuals. And we're coming out with our second, we'd not call it trilogy, but a series, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be based on David and Goliath. So check it out, Anthony. You want to call me on that one?
Okay.
We haven't even released that yet. We haven't even let anyone know yet.
Now, David and Goliath, the parable, or?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
What is it? How does that relate? Does it relate to business at all, or?
Sure. Yeah. Because if you think about it, it relates to anything. It's just like the 13 steps to riches.
Okay.
Riches, look, Think and Grow Rich, or 13 steps to riches. Riches could be anything. It could be your mental health. It could be your physical awesomeness of your health. It could be your relationships. You're rich in your relationships. It could be your business, right? It could be your finances. It could be anything. Same thing with David and Goliath. I mean, how many of us go up against a Goliath and we're David at that point, right? Mm-hmm. So and some of us are the Goliaths, and so we're gonna go with some really cool modern journeys and stories of lessons and success that all of us have learned through the years. And there's going to be, again, 33 speakers, 13 books. That's going to be awesome.
Wow. That sounds fun. Well, and folks, keep an eye out for that. These books are going to be released over the next 2 years. So definitely keep an eye out. All right. So
you can already go to Amazon right now. Amazon. You can go to Amazon. You can go to barnesandnoble.com. You can go to Target, Walmart. They're going to be everywhere. So 13, it's called The 13 Steps to Riches.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We have,
and you're in it. I'm flipping the script and asking you, Dr. Anthony, how do you feel about being one of the contributing co-authors in this series? Tell us about your.
I'm very picky about, first of all, I only like to write my own books. I do not like to collaborate with anything unless there's a special exception. This series has 3 different exceptions. It's written by Napoleon Hill, the king of self-development. It's got Sharon Lechter, the queen of finance books, okay, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and so many other amazing celebrities. And then you have Erik Swanson, who's leading the team, which I already feel comfortable with. So that's all the reasons I need right there to be in that book. It's just a huge, and it's giving respect to one, as I said, one of the greatest self-development leaders who led every CEO in the world you ever know of, has his book on their desk. We're actually taking the 13 steps from that book and we're going to analyze each one in a separate book. So it's an unbelievable lifetime experience. That's what I think. I'm so happy I met you, Erik, because of that. So,
Oh, thanks, man. It's so true. Here's another copy. There's so many renditions of the Think and Grow Rich. So pick up this copy or your copy. Here's a collector's edition, Think and Grow Rich, deluxe edition. But the point is, though, it's a great read, Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read it, you've been under that rock. But then what you want to do is pick up. We don't even have a copy of ours yet because it drops on the streets on July 15th, coming up here this year, 2021. So we're looking forward to getting the actual copies in. It's gonna be amazing.
Wow, we're just weeks away, folks. Weeks away. So all right, Erik, we got 6 questions left, and I know you're on a time button, so I want to make sure we meet your time restriction. Okay, these are very easy questions. We're heading into standard terms here. What are your favorite financial books? Maybe 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you 2. The Necessity of Finance is number 1. And the second one is The Survival of the Richest. That's number 2. All right. And I guess Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one of my favorites back in the day. But now it's this one right here. It's Exit Rich. Exit Rich is amazing. Another one, Darren Hardy's Compound Effect is awesome. It's not really a finance book, but it sort of is. So that's a great book. But this one right here, as I mentioned, Exit Rich, this is Michelle Seiler Tucker and Sharon Lechter are the co-authors of this one. And they go through what's called 6 Ps, the 6P method. And they teach you step by step how to build your business in such a way that it's super valuable, so that you can literally sell it for a certain amount that you exit rich. It's awesome. So those are my books.
And Michelle Seiler Tucker, folks, she's coming on in about 2 or 3 weeks. She's incredible. She's sold
in the future, right? Future.
Okay. Well, future. Yeah, your left is my right.
Michelle, good to see you in the future.
We're in the video Zoom mirror world. Everything's opposite.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Erik. All right, so do we need money to survive? Now think before you answer that question, think of your hardest moments in life, your biggest struggles, and do we need money to survive?
Yeah, so it's a trick question, obviously. So it's a 3-part answer. The first part is yes. The second part is, well, maybe not, because I survived throughout those interim times, what's called the sigmoid curve. The sigmoid curve is it's the peaks and the valleys. The valleys are where you have a different type of money, and that's the drive in you. That's the amazingness. That's the connections. And then the third answer is, of course, yes. We are in a currency world, whether it's called money or crypto or whatever. It's a currency. You need currency to survive. Yes, absolutely. Now, I will say this, and we may have time just for one more question after this, but just because of my hard stop coming up, I will say this. Brian Tracy used to teach me this, and I love it. And I'm actually writing a new book, and it's called Nothing to Declare. And I think I talked to you about this before, Dr. Anthony. I believe we had a conversation on this. And I love the fact that Brian Tracy used to tell me this. He says, you can take a laptop, 13-inch laptop or whatever, a tablet, an iPad or something, and just go through customs in an airport. And the customs person, when you go to the next country, and the customs person will say, do you have anything to declare? And your answer could be nothing to declare, because you have in your mind and in your laptop, let's say, or where you're going to write it down and build this business, you have all that you need right here and right here. You don't actually have to bring anything physically to anywhere to build a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So there you go.
Thank you, Erik. All right, 30 seconds tops. Along the same vein, is finance necessary for everyone?
Is finance necessary? Describe what you mean.
Finance, the science of, why I created my own definition, science and management of wealth for individuals, groups, or organizations. Very unique.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, you're the expert at that. So I flip it back to you. Next question.
Okay.
You're the expert, man. I'm not talking about finance. All I do is I make money, and that's what I do. So
okay.
You're the finance expert.
All right. What would you like to accomplish in the next 10 years or so? Why in less than 30 seconds?
In the next 10 years, what am I going to accomplish? Well, I'll tell you this. I want to accomplish the fact that I can look back, and I want to meet that person that looks back and says, wow, you did an amazing, not job, but amazing experience, amazing, I don't know what the word I want to use for instead of job. You did such a fantastic experience, right? Helping so many other people in life that it's so rewarding. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the helping others. As I mentioned before, the no drama, serve others. I live by this, and I have this sign in so many different places in my office and in my car and different places, right? But you live by it. And I really want to live by what I'm teaching and preaching to myself by helping other people.
By making more books, movies, possibly. What do you got on the
Oh,
horizon?
well, those are the vehicles of how to do it. Sure. Yeah. We're going to be doing a series of books. We're going to be, I really live by bringing on people that are interested in getting on stages like TED Talk stages, TED Talk style stages that are like ours in Habitude Warrior, as well as the masterminds. We have a great mastermind called the Habitude Warrior Mastermind. We also have the Global Speakers Mastermind. So those are amazing. And I just want to grow this community so that we can help people. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you, Erik. Last question. What would you like your legacy to this world?
Exactly what I just said in the last question. It's funny how they intertwine, right? My legacy is already, it's already built. I mean, my legacy is literally already built. If tomorrow, if I have to wear that brown suit that Wayne Dyer talks about with no pockets, if you know that story, you know what I'm talking about, then, I feel complete. I feel complete on assisting so many people and myself as well. And my legacy should be the fact that, like, oh, remember Erik? He was such a great individual. He always cared about other people first. That's what it's all about. So very similar to what I just mentioned a second ago.
Thank you, Erik. And before we close out, I'm going to give you the floor. You're more than welcome to talk about anything you want. So the floor is yours.
Really? Anything I want?
Anything you want.
Anything.
My gift to you from Philadelphia.
Okay. So I'd like you to, if you could do this, I'm going to give you a $1,000 DoorDash gift card. If you can stand up, go back and knock on those bricks behind you. That's what I want to see. I want to see, can you do it?
I would have to become the Matrix to do that.
I want you to move that chair to this chair over there. I'm just kidding. Anything I want? Yeah. I mean, look, guys, connect with us. If you want to decide to really be awesome, well, decide to be awesome. Go to decidetobeawesome.com and join our tribe. Join us. That's what I'd like to close out with.
Awesome. Thank you, Erik.
My pleasure.
All right, folks. So you've been watching another episode of the Dr. Finance Live podcast. This is Dr. Anthony Criniti IV, also known as Dr. Finance. And we have our guest speaker, Erik Swanson. If you want to get more information about Erik Swanson, you can go to, Erik, where's your website?
Decidetobeawesome.com.
Decidetobeawesome.com. If you want more information about myself, it's on the window there, drfinance.info. They're my 3 books. Erik already talked about them. Definitely check them out. Check out these Think and Grow Rich books that were coming out pretty soon. It's called 13 Steps to Riches. Okay, so it's a modern interpretation of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you're not reading that, folks, you're out of the money. So you definitely should be reading those books. And thank you again, Erik, for coming. I appreciate you being here. And thanks again, audience, for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. We got an amazing lineup of more speakers coming in. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.